Do you wish you had more joy in your life? That is what this 4-week Bible study through the Book of Philippians is all about. It's entitled The Joy of Christian Living. Last week, we worked through chapters 2 and 3, where Paul calls us to humility and forward-focused faith. In other words, don't keep looking at the past. This week, we're finishing in chapter 4, where he speaks so practically about peace, contentment, and joy. Hi, I'm Sandy from the creatorsclassroom.com, Growing in Joy Women's Bible Study Group. She Finds Hope, and Diving Deeper in the Bible, a women's Bible study group, all on Facebook. This study was written by Darlene Schott from the Time Warp Wife, and it's a beautiful, thoughtful guide that helps us slow down, dig deeper, and really apply God's Word to our everyday lives. There is a free study guide that you can download, or you can also purchase an actual book that is from Darlene Schott at the Time Warp Wife. The directions for getting this is in the comments below. This week brings everything together in such a practical and encouraging way. We started in the latter part of Philippians 3, where Paul reminds us to keep moving forward. He makes it clear that our past doesn't define us, but it also shouldn't make us overly confident. Instead, our focus is on the goal, pressing on, moving forward, growing in Jesus. And one of the most powerful reminders in this section is that our citizenship is in heaven. This world isn't our final home. And when we really take that to heart, it changes how we live. It shifts our priorities. It softens our grip on things that don't last. And it helps us keep an eternal perspective, even in the middle of everyday life. Then, as we moved into chapter 4, Paul gets very practical. He continues that same idea of living as citizens of heaven, and part of that shows up in how we treat each other. If we're walking in humility, like we talked about in chapter 2, then it naturally reduces conflict. It changes the way we respond when tensions come up. And Paul encourages unity, not division. And then he gives us some really familiar and powerful instructions. Rejoice in the Lord, pray about everything, and be thankful. And the intentional about what we think about. And when you look at those together, you start to see a pattern. These aren't just random commands, they're a pathway to peace. Not just a peace based on everything going right, but a deep, steady peace that comes from staying connected to God in the middle of whatever we're going through. That challenge this week to think on things we can rejoice about, even 10 simple things, is actually more powerful than it sounds. Why? Because it shifts our focus, and what we focus on affects how we feel, our emotions, and how we respond to everything around us. It helps us take our thoughts captive and turn them toward what is good, what is true, and what reflects God's presence in our lives. And then we ended this week with Paul talking about contentment. And I love how honest this part is. He doesn't say contentment comes naturally. He says it's something we learn. Through different seasons, through different circumstances, through both having plenty and having very little, contentment is a process. It's something we grow into, and we learn to trust God more deeply. And what's so encouraging is that we're not doing this alone. God is with us in every season, strengthening us, providing for us, and helping us work through whatever we're facing. And Paul reminds us of another beautiful truth, that when we live with open hands, when we care for others and put them first, God sees that, and he faithfully provides for our needs. So, as we wrap up this study, here are a couple of things to reflect on. Where is God asking you to shift your focus, maybe from the past to what's ahead? And what would it look like for you to practice contentment right where you are today? Even though Philippians is a short book, it's full of truth that we can carry with us every day. Joy, humility, unity, contentment, all rooted in Jesus. I'm so glad you went through the book of Philippians with me. We have more studies that you're invited to join at any time at thecreatorsclassroom.com. There are about 11 or 12 different studies, so there should be something else there that you will find enriching and help you grow in your walk with the Lord. And while you're at it, do all the things that we do on social media: like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next time on another study from the Creator's Classroom. Bye bye.